from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
Good morning and welcome back to the Netball GDFL show. This morning we have, as I said earlier, Kathy Jennings. Good morning, welcome Kathy, our umpires coordinator.
Thank you.
Just to give you a little bit of a rundown, Kathy has taken over the umpires coordinator's role from myself, which is wonderful, and we're going to hear a little bit from Kathy this morning. Kathy, just wanted to ask you a few questions, and Fiona's got a few questions as well, just to see what you're doing with the GDFL and the umpires role. Can you just tell us, Kathy, a little bit about yourself and your background in netball?
Sure, Madge. Well, I'm originally from Melbourne, and I came down to Geelong with a company, and I played like everybody else at Cardinia Park with GNA. I actually trained for my umpire's badge with Holly Carew there. Then I moved into Southside at the then rec centre, I think it was, Sport and Rec Centre, and I trained with Edna Johnson there as well on a Monday night. I also umpired at State League in Melbourne, and that's when I received my second badge. And I came back to Geelong, and I've been involved with associations since then.
Great. And just... You've joined the GDFL, which is wonderful, and we're very excited and pleased to have you on board, particularly me, because it's taken a lot of work away from me, which is wonderful. Can you tell us about your role, how you see your role, and what you're planning on doing with the role? And we're into round two. How's it been going, I guess, for you?
Well, my role predominantly is to support the panel umpires and also to have a look for club umpires that have got potential down the track that they might be interested in umpiring in the panel, because as we all know, independent umpires aren't around forever, so you've got to keep building and you've got to have those pathways in place in a league so that supports the clubs as well. So probably looking at courses and rule reviews, assessing on a Saturday, just supporting the umpires being at the clubs as well.
Great.
And as you said, it's only the second round, so I've only seen 2 games. And the first one I saw was the Bellpost Hill and Inverleigh match.
Which was a great match.
It was a fantastic match. They were very, very well coached, very disciplined on the court. And we all like to go to a match and just support the umpires and have a great time and enjoy the game as well.
I guess I found the umpires panel was a fantastic comradeship there, and hopefully that can continue. You're probably finding that that's there, they support each other, and that's wonderful to have that, and hope that's continuing. And look, we do know that umpires are hard to get and keep, so we are working on the development of them. I know Fiona's got a couple of questions that she'd like to ask you as well, Kathy, so we might go over to Fee.
So you've come over from the Bellarine League. What made you, what was the decision to come over? Like, were you approached or...?
Yes, actually Madge approached me and it took a little while for me to actually decide. I had a look at the panel umpires were there, and I of course know a lot of them, and I knew it was going to be a strong panel. So I decided then to come on board and work with Madge and also support the clubs along with the panel umpires.
And you umpired us last weekend up at Belmont. Are you going to be doing much umpiring yourself, or is your main role to just supervise the other umpires?
Well, that is my main role, to supervise, but at times I do like to take the court, and that was an exceptional game between Belmont and Geelong West. Took me a little while to get used to the names, but I eventually did. Again, very well coached and very disciplined on the court, and Geelong West have got a lot of talent there, and of course they rotated their players beautifully, even when it was pouring with rain. They did that as well, so I really enjoyed that match. And I had another young umpire with me, who is working towards her B grade badge, and which is young Emily Carpenter, so she's doing very well.
Great.
You know, we've only played 2 games so far, and they're definitely new faces, the umpires around it, and I think that that's great from a player's perspective, that I think that if people have been umpiring the same teams, they really get to know the actual players, and there can be maybe a bit of bias in some terms. I'm not going to point any fingers or anything.
Don't hear that.
But you know, I think it is actually really good to get some new faces around, and you know, I hope the improvements keep happening and things like that.
Well, there are some new umpires that have come across with me, and also on the panel we have 4 testers, which I'm one as well, and we've got 3 trainee testers as well. So we've got a lot of strength within that panel. I don't necessarily agree with you about panel umpires being biased. I think they call the infringements as they see it, but as everyone knows, you have to be in the right position to make the right decision.
And I guess that's something that you would be probably working on, Kathy.
Yes.
With the umpires to make sure, like I said, I think a few weeks ago when I was on, clubs and teams and players are really forgiving if you're in the correct spot. And obviously I speak from an umpire's point of view. If you're in the right spot and you make, you know, a wrong call, they're a little bit more forgiving fee, as you probably find as a player.
And look, it's completely understandable that an umpire is not always right, and neither is a player. That
exactly
is it. From a club perspective, I guess if we are having problems with certain umpires who've umpired us a few times, what is the process for us at the club level to maybe bring it forward to the league?
Great question. Look, that's a great question, because Kathy can answer that, as in it's at the time, you know. Yeah, Kathy, if you could sort of answer that for
Well, I
me.
try going through all the games, and I'm rotating as many umpires as I can. But I would like you to be in contact with me if that is going to be the case, and I would ensure that I would be at the games with those umpires if they're being pinpoint for whatever reason it is.
That's great.
Yeah. But if I think also as well with the panel umpires that fitness plays a big part, because we can see the fitness of the players as well. So if you're umpiring at that top level, you need to be pretty fit. And
part of it is, you know, doing your own fitness, walking and, you know, that sort of thing. So Kathy's right with that. So we've only got a little bit of time left, Kathy. Is there anything you'd like to sort of speak to us about what you're seeing in the future with the GDFL and the umpires or the panel umpires? Is something that to let everyone know that is happening or you'd like to see?
Well, it's just developing the umpires, and as I said, I'm always keen on the pathways for umpires. And as I said, there may be a young umpire within a club who's got aspirations to go on to the panel, and that's what we look at.
That's great. Thanks, Kathy. It's great for you to join us this morning. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you very much, Matt.
From all around your lawn, I'm here to tell you how football is strong. We're the best. Bounce the ball.